Hello mga topilots, Captain JC Rage here, and today we will be talking about go around or miss approach. Why do we do it, and how do we perform a miss approach? So stay tuned. First of all, I don't like this vlog to be too technical so that everybody can understand what we are discussing. But this vlog will be beneficial for those of you who are taking flying lessons and also for those common people who have no background regarding flying or flying lessons. So let's define first what is a go around or a missed approach. A missed approach is a procedure where a pilot decides not to continue with the landing or not to complete the landing. So instead of continuing the landing, he will make a procedure to kind of take off again and then make another approach for a full stop landing. The common reasons for a go around or miss approach are the following. First is aircraft is not stabilized for the approach. Second is obstacles on the runway. Third, you have no clearance from the tower to land. And lastly, weather or bad weather situation.
100 above. 400. Minimum 300. $200. 100. 50. 40. 30.
So what you just watched is a missed approach procedure or a go around procedure. I performed that go around procedure medyo matagal na eh. But the story is we were fully stabilized at 1,000 feet, 500 feet up to minimums, and then at the very low finals there was a sudden gust of wind which made our aircraft and our flight path too high for landing. So if you can watch again the video, you will see that the poppy lights, those four lights, white and red lights, it became all white at the last minute. So I decided to make a go around and make another stabilized approach for us to land the aircraft safely. So let's talk first about aircraft is unstabilized for landing. So before a pilot can decide to continue the landing, he must be able to meet certain criterias, and he must be able to say that the aircraft is on a stabilized condition before he can land. That means that the aircraft must not be too high, the aircraft must not be too low, or the aircraft is not be too slow or too fast. So those criteria must be met before 1,000 feet. Well, that depends on the company, but in our company, you must meet all those criteria before 1,000 feet. And you must be on the final landing configuration before 1,500 feet. That means that before 1,500 feet, if your gears or yung mga gulong hindi pa nakababa, you cannot continue to land and you must perform a miss approach. So that's one. Why does it happen? There are a lot of factors why it happens. Too much workload during the approach, or there's a weather condition which we will discuss later. But things like that happen. Even if there are gates that's supposed to guard us to be on a stabilized condition before 1,000 feet, but there are things sometimes that we cannot control. So if those things are not met, we must not continue the approach. The next reason why we perform a go around is because there is an obstacle on the runway. So sometimes there is still an aircraft lining up or lined up on the runway, and for some reason hindi pa siya nakaka-take off kaagad dahil siguro may procedure pa or merong nagkaroon ng problema. So those things, sometimes it happens. So we cannot continue to land because there is an aircraft on the runway. Sometimes there are also animals, stray animals going on the runway like dogs. Ang pinakamalaking hayop na nasubukan ko, hindi sa airline but before when I was flying small planes, was a cow on the runway. So of course you don't want to, ayaw mong bumangga sa cow, ayaw mong bumangga sa baka or kalabaw. You have to perform a go around and make sure that the runway is clear. Another one is equipment or people on the runway, because sometimes there are people who are doing some work on the runway, and then there are some instances that there are still people or equipment on the runway, which prevents the aircraft from completing the landing. So the pilot must be able to see it. If the tower is kasi busy rin yung mga nasa tower so kung hindi rin nila nakita, it goes both ways. The tower is always there to ensure that to give us a clearance to landing so that we can land safely. So another reason is there's no clearance from the tower to land. Maybe the tower sees something that we cannot see from above, and then the tower or the ATC will order us to make a go around or make a missed approach. Maybe she or he saw something on the runway like a damaged runway, something like that. So just to be sure, they will instruct us to make a go around. So the last reason why a pilot must perform a go around is because of weather. So there are a lot of weather conditions that a pilot encounters during the flight, and it is very crucial during the finals or the landing phase, because if we encounter that, it will put the aircraft in an unstabilized condition that is not a safe condition for the pilot to land the aircraft. Common conditions are wind shear, which is wind shear, for those of you who don't know, it's like a sudden change of wind direction and velocity. It can be a downdraft or an updraft, pwedeng bigla kang itutulak pababa or pataas ng hangin, which will put the aircraft in an unstabilized condition. Also, wind limitations. So all aircraft is certified by the manufacturer on a certain limit when it comes to wind conditions. Not actually a limitation, but a demonstrated crosswind for landing of 38 knots. That includes the gust. Ibig sabihin nun, when the aircraft is landing and there is a crosswind, meaning coming from the sides, if the wind is at 38 knots, it can still be landed. But it also says in the manual that the pilots must take precaution on landing in excess of those numbers, because accidents can happen. For tailwind, the limitation for our company is 15 knots. So I said our company because that depends on the aircraft that is certified by the manufacturer. Some aircraft are certified only up to 10 knots. Some are certified up to 15 knots, some even higher. So anytime that there is an excess of those wind conditions, we cannot continue to land. So we get those information from the tower and also from the instruments that we have on the aircraft. So another reason under weather is poor visibility. So of course, if the pilot cannot see the runway, he will not be able to land their aircraft. So that means that if he cannot see the runway, he will make a go around. There are a lot of factors why the pilot cannot see a runway. If there is a very strong precipitation, meaning rain or snow, if there is a fog over the runway. I've experienced that myself. So there are a lot of reasons why the pilot cannot see the runway. So how do we perform the go around or missed approach? In all phases of flight, we are following certain standards, and especially during landing when we are on finals, meaning we are already lined up for landing, we also follow an approach chart. And on that chart is the procedure for the missed approach. That means that we have a certain track to follow, a certain altitude to achieve or again, so that we can follow the missed approach procedure. That includes also the speed. So everything must be followed according to standards unless you are instructed by the ATC to do otherwise. Sometimes the missed approach procedure is not followed because of too much traffic within the terminal area. So if the ATC or the air traffic controller will tell you, okay, maintain runway heading instead of proceeding with the missed approach track or the missed approach procedure, we will follow the ATC because the ATC knows all the traffic around us. So his job is to ensure our safety. So that's why for all the ATC, thank you very much for keeping us safe. So that's it. We have a certain standard on how we do the missed approach procedure. For the procedure inside the cockpit, that depends on the aircraft that you are flying. So different aircraft, they have different procedures on how they perform the missed approach. But most aircraft, that includes raising up the gears, cleaning up the aircraft, meaning all flaps are going to be retracted. So I will not go into technical details regarding that, but what I want you to know and what I want to say is that we are trained to do that, and it is just a normal procedure for us. Of course, for the common passengers, you don't, unless you're a frequent flyer, but if you're flying like once or twice a year only, you don't get to experience that a lot. But for us pilots, for cabin crew, yung mga matatagal na rin na cabin crew, alam na nila na kapag ka nag-go around, there must be something wrong. And they know that we are following a certain procedure and a certain standard. To give you a better understanding of what we were talking about, the missed approach procedure, we'll show you this chart of Mactan Cebu and explain to you the missed approach procedure. So as you can see, this is Arnab runway series 4 of Mactan, and over here you will see missed approach runway 04, and this is the procedure for it. Climb on 046 to 2000, turn right to Jodem, then to Drigo, and hold at 4000 or as instructed by ATC. Do not exceed 250 knots until Drigo, and do not turn before the missed approach point. So this instruction written here is corresponding to this dotted line. This is the go around track. So whatever is explained here, let's say climb on 046, climb on heading of 046, going that direction, and then it says there to 2000 feet, then turn right to Jodem. So once you reach 2000 feet, head to Jodem, which is this, and then it says there, then to Drigo and hold at 4000. So you continue your path to Drigo, which is this one, then hold 4000. This is the holding pattern, this direction. So for those of you who are wondering how do we perform the missed approach, it is a standard procedure for all pilots actually. I remember last year, I think, late last year, there was a Facebook post of a passenger from a certain airline demanding the company to explain why the landing was aborted by the pilot because it caused him or her stress or something. So this is also one reason why I'm doing this video, this vlog, is to explain to you, to the viewing public, that it is a normal procedure. And the reason why pilots decide to not continue the landing is for safety purposes. That means he doesn't want to gamble with your life. That means that he recognized something that is not safe for him to continue the land. So he decides to make another approach and ensure that the aircraft is on a stabilized condition, ensure that he can see the runway clearly before he continued the landing. So guys, before we end the vlog or the video, shout out muna tayo sa mga fans ko. May mga fans na raw ako. So, sabi ni Jacqueline Sarno, kaboses niyo po si Chavit Singson. I hope kasing yaman ko rin si Chavit. Shout out din kay Jayco Omadto. Sabi niya, hello po Captain, gusto ko lang po sana pabati po ako kasi birthday niya. So, to you Jayco Omadto, happy birthday. So, for those of you who would like to interact with me, please follow my Facebook page. It's Captain JC Rage Vlogs. It's on Facebook. Please follow it. I intend to only answer questions on that page, and also on Instagram, which is Captain Cappy. All links I will put on the description below. Thank you very much again for another vlog, and see you again soon.